Thank you for welcome,
Yes, I'm going
for
to
being
ask
here
some.
and listening to me during this keynote session. I just want to apologize because I don't know anything about food industry, but my main preoccupation is to deal about digital. And what I have seen for the past 3 decades now, yes, 3 decades, is that digital has changed everything in a lot of sectors, and it happens now in your industry. Um, I guess I have to push that button, yes, to go to the next slide. And what I want to, what I did realize when I was preparing this configuration is that you have a lot of, I call that pressures that coming from a lot of sides. The first thing is the consumer, because you see that everyone wants healthy food. Do you want to be healthy? Yes, I want to be healthy myself. I want alternative proteins. I don't want to eat meat anymore, so I want to change the way I food myself. I want to eat local food that come from around my home. I want seasonal food. I don't want to eat any fruit that come from 10,000 kilometers away anymore. I want to eat food that come from around my situation. And a lot of consumers are so very interested in the deforestation, and they want to understand how the companies help reduce deforestation. And finally, I don't know if anyone here has allergies. Do you want? Yes, 1, 2 people, and many people have allergies, and they want to just eating better reduce the impact of allergies. The second pressure comes from regulation, and regulation comes from many places. For example, we want to reduce waste and loss of food, which is really dramatic at the large scale, and we will see that later. And you have regulation that want to reduce the greenhouse gas impact. So these regulations are impact the food industry, but every industry especially. And you also have regulations regarding carbon sequestrations. You have national laws. You have international laws. So a lot of laws that come to that sector. And you also have sector-specific laws that apply especially to the food and agriculture industry. Pressures coming from the employee. You may have, maybe you know that a lot of employees around the world want to quit their companies because they want to have better professional and personal life balance. They want to join a company where there's a sense for the future. They want to be involved in a company that makes business for good. They want to telework more. Thank you for the COVID for that. And a lot of people want to work from home. And we also see a new generation coming in the company, people that are born after the 90s and at the beginning of the 20,000. Those people are, most of them, slash generation, and they are having a lot of different activities in their life, especially any type of expertise they could have, but they want to deal with that, so that make pressure to the companies that employ them. And last one is innovation. We are here in the innovation bubble of the SIAL, and we see a lot of startups, we see new business models, we see new products coming around, we see disruption risks, finally. That means, and that's what we have seen in other sectors, that new companies with new business models and new products have dramatically changed the way we do business in those areas. We all know, for example, what happens for the tourism industry with Airbnb, what happens in the taxi industry with Uber, and so on. So it will happen again in this sector as it happened in other sectors as well. And for all of that, that will, if you want, you know, it's a physical problem. If you want to hire more pressure, you have to acquire more agility, and that's where digital is, and where you will consider the company as a platform. Being a platform is the condition to finally deal with all those pressures. Just to remind you what the key figures that you are facing as an industry. $600 billion of agricultural waste every year around the world. That's 33 to 40% of what is produced. It's incredible. At the same time, we have 800 million people that are suffering from hunger. So we have an issue as humans. And the last key figures that I have found when preparing this cooperation is that the global GHG, greenhouse gas, come from the food waste and loss only. Just food waste and loss. And if you, that's 4 times the aerospace industry. It's considerable. And if you look at the wider agricultural industry, 27% of the global GHG come from the agricultural industry. So this means that we have, when I say we as human, soon 8 billion people on this earth, we have an issue, and digital will help us raise that issue. If we look at France, for example, we are in France, so it makes sense to do a focus about France. Just in that country, 10 million tons of food is wasted each year. 10 million tons of food. That is 16 billion euros. Do you want 16 billion euros? I do. What can we do with that? A lot of things. And if we zoom more closely to that, we see that there's, at each phase of the value chain, we have something to do. 32% come from the production side. So this means that we need to streamline the way we harvest, the way we plant, etc. The second step, the second phase, is on the transformation phase. And there we have to improve the food treatment from farm to the warehouse. So this means that we need to better schedule, to have a better supply chains, and then we will reduce that waste. The third phase is the consumption. So you and I, we consume things, and a lot of food that we buy, we don't eat them. We put it in the trash can. So we need to change our habits as consumer, and we need help of anyone. And the fourth phase is the distribution. This distribution where we see that there's a lot of wastage in the shop. So this means that we need to track, for example, the show dates of products in the shops, so that we can improve the donations, for example, and we have laws in France for that. Well, France is a specialist of laws in the world, so we have done things on that also. I don't know about other countries, but in that country, we have laws. All those phases need digital to be in the capacity to reduce waste. At the highest level, now, if we zoom out, what we have to reduce, to produce food and livestock at the better time, when we need it and where we need it. We need to decarbonize. I talked about this earlier, and with less ESG and more carbon sequestration, which is a huge opportunity for the food sector. And we have also alternative proteins, which means plant-based and new way to consume, new way to eat. We will not eat anymore. We will eat new proteins. So for all of that, we will need technology investments. So that means that money is going in that field. And if you look at the innovation by itself, just a few samples just a few samples. Many of you may know some of those examples that we have here. For the supply chain, if you want to improve the supply chain, you will need, for example, AI with what does Califray. If Califray is a French company that use AI to improve the supply chain in Rungis. I don't know if you know, Rungis is a famous market in Paris, where I think it's the biggest in Europe, if my informations are good. And on that, they use AI, artificial intelligence, to improve the supply chain. Other example, at local distribution. I said that one of the impact that we have is at the end where the consumer eats. So we need to improve how food come to home. And that's, if you look at this agreement that is signed between Uber Eats and Euro in Texas and California, they will send robots to home. So you can feed your fridge with food that comes directly without any human coming to you. At the customer relationship phase, we see, for example, Casino and Bouet that are doing a loyalty program using NFTs. So NFTs, I think you talked about this just before I came. You could come about the metaverse and maybe the NFTs as well. And these kind of new technologies come to improve the loyalty programs. It's the same for Starbucks with the Odyssey programs that use NFTs. And at the consumption level, we also see, for example, Bernie Pack, a company in France, in Nantes to be precise, and they replace the disposable trays with returnable stainless. So it looks like we come back to earlier age. Like, for example, when you had this milk bottle that came to your home and they were returned, and you had milk again. So it looks like we're coming back with technologies. So this means that we will improve that process, and thanks to digital. That were only samples, only 5 or 4. I haven't counted the previous slide, but we only had 4 examples of technologies and startups that come to the market. But if you look at the agri-tech and food tech industry, just in Europe, you have 1,400 companies today that are working on that sector, on that technologies. And if you look at that slide, what is really interesting is that there are the links between food tech and agri-tech and other, for example, clean tech, green tech, IT services, and so on. So all those bubbles, those big bubbles, are area of innovation. And just in Europe, you see connections between what happens in the food tech industry, agri-tech industry, and other industries. Regarding the money, I said that if you look at where the money comes, and it happened in the previous decades, as I said, in other sectors, you see that, for example, 9.5 billion were invested in the food tech industry just in 2021. Imagine what it is, 9.5 billion euros. And those billion euros are 3 more bigger than what was invested in 2020. So this means that all those money that come to the innovation sector, to innovation companies, startups, and so on, in that sector, will produce new product, new innovation, new business models in the coming years. Especially you have 3 countries that are very interesting in that field. So where you have the more money that comes to that companies in Germany, UK, and France. So that doesn't mean that those countries will be the more innovative. That means that those countries raise the more monies to improve technologies in the food sector. So this means that things will dramatically change. You have more money, you have many startups in that sector, so new products will come around, new business models. So that means that existing companies need to improve their maturity, their digital maturity, because they will have to deal with all those companies in the coming years. They have to deal with more data, and they have to adapt themselves to all those pressures that I explained. If you look just at the green, some few examples also at the waste valuation. It's a very good idea to evaluate waste. Okay, we want to improve that. I said that earlier. And if you look at the Green Whisper company, what do they provide? Also, it's a 1 point in the slide that I've shown before, where you saw the 140 companies. This company is just taking the banana stem and extract from that stem fiber that will become T-shirts and so on, shoes and so on. And the other part is fertilizer for the farmer. So it's very interesting. They come to the field, they get the banana stem, they extract the fiber, they get back the remaining part to the farmer, and everyone is happy. And we have new T-shirts, very, very funny. But the problem is that if they want to do that, they need to go very fast. That means that since the banana stem is cut and on the floor, they need to come to the farmer during the next 24 hours, 2 days. At 3 days, it's coming to the production is not that good. So they need to better understand how the farmer is going to harvest and when he is going to harvest, and how much quantity will be available, and so on. So it's mainly a problem of supply chain if you look at it from a wider way. Frontline workers are also very interesting people that we need to digitalize. Those people are in the field. They are in contact with the plants and so on. They are working on site. And 8% of them don't know how to read. So we had to give them something to act in the digital world. And that's what VisiVision did for Lady, for example. And they make just the smartphone a tool just to take pictures and see how the plant is behaving, and for example, see parasites and so on, and see what can we help, how can we help, what kind of treatment can we apply to this plant, without any word, just a photo, and that's processed back in the back office. At the waste management system, or in the shop, what happens is very interesting to see SmartWay. If you have seen that company, they provide a food waste management system. This system will plug into the operations of the shop and will reduce. That's what they say on their website. They reduce by a factor of 4 the time spent to check dates. So just to check dates, you see many people in shops. They just look at the dates on yogurt and so on, and it's a long time to do that. So if you want to apply what is told to the laws, you have to make people just control the waste, the times, the check dates. So it's long, and with this tool, you will do it faster. They will guarantee 0 expired products on shelves. So this means that we will not have any products that is going to the trash can anymore. With the simplest, fastest processing. So that's the magic of digital, because you get some measures at every steps of the process. You get more data, and you are able to better manage your process and supervise it. And finally, you will have more tracking results that you can communicate to companies. Regarding the previous slides where I talked about Green Whisper, it's the same issue. They need to measure the impact of decarbonation, for example, of using banana stem. And with more tools that will get the data from inside the machines that are involved in that process, they will be able to communicate on that and say, for example, at the end of the process, okay, this T-shirt has done, for example, 10 CO2 less. That is the impact of that T-shirt on that planet. So if you buy that T-shirt, that makes sense to the planet. Finally, if you want to own the change, that's my conclusion. I don't know if I have. Yes, I am on time. It's okay. Finally, if you want to own the change, what I recommend today is that you realize if your company is ready for digital, for that world that is coming around in the food and agriculture industry. So I recommend that you do that 360 degrees digital diagnostic. And for that, you will consider your strategy. How is it, does your digital strategy come and help your strategy, your business strategy? How is organized your company to deal with anything that deal with digital, no matter employees are in the company. You will want to be sure that employees handle digital in details. I explained, for example, the people that don't know how to read, you have to equip them with specific solutions. If you want to, you will also have to consider your offerings. Is it how it is designed and distributed via digital? You will need to understand how technical solutions support your external stakeholders, internal stakeholders as well. And finally, you will have to consider how you apprehend your the economic regulation. I said there's a lot of regulation in that way that will be, say that those regulations will make you use more digital tools at each steps of the value chain. All of this you can do on Dimm.Up.com, and if you need our help, we are here to serve you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Michael in French. Michael as well. Any question in the audience? No question? Apparently, one question. Yes. I'm going to give you a mic.
The talk. Just wanted to better understand the 360 degrees assessment. The assessment, okay. Is it done by the company, Dimm.Up? Or
you can do it by Dimm.Up or by yourself.
Okay.
It's a new way to do consulting. It's, I say that it's tool-based consulting. That means that you can do it by yourself using the methodology, using the tool that we as consultants are using, and you can do it by yourself. If you want to be helped, if you want to be challenged, if you want to have people, experts that come on your side and understand how deeply you're very deeper in a deeper way, how you are handling digital, then we come and we do some consulting expertise using the tool.
So for an objective assessment, it's
yes.
better to have...
Sorry?
For an objective assessment, it's better to have consultants to do it, right?
It depends. It's different. If you want to be alone on the screen and use the tool by yourself, you can do it. And you can manage your digital transformation by yourself alone. If you want to go a little bit in more details, if you want to be challenged. When I say challenged, that I want to have conversations with people and see, for example, if HR and IT is, when I discover some things that are not, that doesn't make sense, what HR people said and what IT people said, for example, it doesn't fit, the machine cannot do it cannot do that for you. So the tool, the online tool is for people that have a good level of maturity already and want to have a deep view at 360 degrees of digital. And if you want to have people that will go to a deeper level and see how, when people are talking, sometimes you discover that things that they are not agree one another. The machine cannot do that, but the human can do it.
Right. The interaction.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Another question here? Thank you.
Okay, just quickly. In your opinion, how important is the impact of e-commerce model on on one side on the industry and of course on the distribution? How, I don't know, I know this is a very large question, but just a few comments about that. Thank you.
I don't have figures for Europe, but in France, it's about 15% of the commerce is e-commerce, only 15%. So that's not that huge if you look at the global level. But if you understand e-commerce as doing commerce with electronic, internet, and so on, then everyone is concerned. You have from the farmer to the shop, you have a lot of technologies that are involved. I have explained about supply chain. I have explained things. I've shown some examples about waste management systems, for example. And you have technologies at each step. So in a large acceptation, it can be seen as there's technology everywhere now. And you cannot imagine being in that world now without technology. See, no technologies, you cannot sell your product, you cannot make yourself known. E-commerce is where you sell, but that's the end of the transaction. But you have to be known. You have to have people come to you, at least.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael.